Hi everyone, welcome to Gather Round, and I'm here. I'm feeling really lovely this evening. It's been a really great couple of days for me. So I'm just wondering how you all are and how you're feeling as you come to sit down and take this time for ourselves. I wanted to start with our meditation. So we can do our tuning in, and then what I wanted us to do was to take your left hand and put it on your heart. And while you're doing that, you're going to be taking long, slow breaths in through the nose and back out through the nose. And just rest your hand on your right knee, and you'll simply close your eyes and really focus on your breath. And while you're doing that, I'm going to play a nice piece of mantra music, which I don't know if any of you have used before when you're meditating. But this is just a really lovely, relaxing one. And we're going to do it for the duration of the song, which is about 3 or 4 minutes. And then we'll get to talking. So let's bring our hands into prayer pose, and we'll bring them in to our chest. And then close your eyes and take in a nice deep breath through the nose. And back out through the nose. And in through the nose. And exhale through the nose. And then we'll inhale to begin. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. So just keep your eyes closed, and I am going to play this lovely piece of music, and I want you to bring your left hand onto your heart center. Close your eyes and just find your natural breath, and right hand on your knee, and just really relax into this and listen to the music. I hope you can hear it. Okay. May the long-time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure within guide you, guide you. Long time sun shine upon all love surround you, and the pure within guide you, guide you. May the long time sun shine upon all love surround you, and the your light within you. Guide your guide, guide Just keep breathing naturally. And just keep your eyes closed and just sit in this space for a moment or two. And when you're ready, just come back to the room that you're in, and easily and softly open your eyes. Okay, so that was something that I have been doing more and more of recently, is on top of the Kriya that I do, the breathing and the mantra that I do with Kundalini Yoga, there's also the mantra music element of it. And for the last 2 weeks now, I've been at a local Kundalini Yoga class, and it's just been amazing. It's an hour and a half long, and the entire class is sequenced with mantra music. So all the different mudras that we're in, all the different mantras that we're using, all the different breathing techniques that we're doing, along with any of the exercises that are part of it, any of the yoga postures. It's all done with this music, and it's really so incredible how much more powerful the class feels with that music added in. And the Fierce Grace Collective, which I'm part of, has a playlist that we all share, well, we all have, and that we listen to throughout the month as we're working through whatever the theme is for that month. And it's something that I love to play at home, and it's really good for sort of just elevating your vibration and very subtly sort of pulling you into that energy. And so I really do find this so powerful. And actually, I've only had 2 classes, but in one of the classes, I could feel myself getting really tearful. Even talking about it sort of makes me feel emotional. And it really is so incredible just how potent Kundalini Yoga is at awakening you to your senses and connecting you very deeply to what you're feeling, a real gut level. So I really wanted to share that with you this evening. I knew that I wanted to do bring music into it this evening, and I don't really know how the sound was, so you'll have to let me know how that was. But this evening we've got maybe about 20 minutes or something to share together now. And I wanted to talk this evening about a book called Inner Bonding. And it's something that I'd had an email from one of you about. And I thought of Inner Bonding because it's something that I've read quite a lot about. And thankfully, my sister has her book here. She has the book on inner bonding, which I don't actually have, so it's just been such a treat to actually have it here. And I just had a quick read before I came on, and I just thought it was actually a really good time for me to be talking about that. I don't know where you are. I don't know what's going on in your life. I don't know what you're currently trying to confront, or I don't know what you're trying to avoid. But there's really something so powerful in being on this journey in a committed way. And I feel like I've been talking a lot recently in my own personal life about discipline, the discipline to take care of myself and to acknowledge how I feel when I'm feeling it. And as I read this book this evening, I could not believe just how strongly it was resonating with me. And the first bit which I wanted to read out is just a wee quote that starts at the beginning, chapter 1, and it said, "It is difficult indeed to struggle against what one has been taught. The child's mind is a helpless one, pliable, absorbing. It makes what it learns a part of its very nature, yet we must change our minds, and you must renew your heart. You must do it alone. There are no teachers for you." And I guess in one sense that can sound quite negative, but the incredible and really liberating thing about that is the acknowledgement that what we experience in our conflict and all the stuff that comes up that causes pain and anxiety is most likely stuff that we have unconsciously learned as children and have mistakenly taken on as our own identity. And I think when we stop and really look at that and start feeling around for the things that just don't have a good fit with us, that bring up our unease and our discontentment and our sense of unhappiness, when these things come up, there is something underneath it. And inner bonding is about recognizing your inner adult and your inner child. And the book is so in depth. It's a great book to get. I definitely need to buy myself a copy. But roughly speaking, the inner child is the part of us that is our most natural self. It's our instinctual gut feelings. It's the way we feel. It is the feeling part of us. And our inner adult is the part of us that is sort of rational and is capable of taking action in the world. And when those two things are in conflict, we are in unhappiness, we're in discontent, we're lost, we're sort of alone on the outside because we feel like there's nothing and no one who can relieve us of this feeling. And we're very lonely on the inside because we've abandoned ourselves. Not knowingly and not deliberately, and there's no blame in that, but in some way we have entered into disconnection. We are disconnected from our feelings. And for most of us, we are desperately trying to avoid pain because somewhere along the way, probably as very young children, we learned that our pain was either terrifying to us or completely unbearable. It was a frightening thing. It was something that we never learned how to be okay with. We didn't see it as something that we could probably handle ourselves. And as children, we look to our adult caregivers to show us and model for us how to handle that fear and pain that inevitably comes up. You know, I've got a 4.5-year-old and a 16-month-old, and I can see with my daughter where she needs me not to label her feelings for her, but just to be with her in her feelings, in her outbursts, in her confusion, in her rage, in her anger. You know, I can see just how important it is that I be with her in that, and, you know, ride out that storm with her so that she can come back to connecting with pain in a way that is not traumatizing, and where it still feels safe, and where the child doesn't go into trying to protect themselves. And protecting ourselves is just really the avoidance of pain. And we find all kinds of ways to do that. We overeat, we undereat, we force ourselves to comply with jobs and lives that we don't want to. We people please, we exhaust ourselves just endlessly going round in a cycle of being outside of ourselves, sort of disowning ourselves and not tapping into what we need. And so the big healing journey, I guess, is to heal by bringing the inner adult and the inner child into sort of companionship with one another, to allow them to interrelate, and for your inner adult to be the thing that soothes your inner child. And this is just so crucial, because normally what's happening is we are looking to our romantic relationships or our children or our job, our status, our wealth, our position, the amount of personal power or autonomy we've got. We use so many things to rescue us from all the inadequacies that we feel, from all the hurt and confusion and pain and resentment that bubbles up in us. And we keep reaching out, and we can't find anything or anyone that satiates the feeling or really removes it. So the message in this book really is that your inner adult is the only adult who can come to your inner child's rescue. And inner bonding is when that happens, when that dialogue opens up, when you can acknowledge your inner child's feelings. So when the anger comes up, or you snap at someone, when you don't handle yourself well, when you get stuck, when you become incredibly stuck in your life, when you feel immobilized, and feeling incapable of doing what we need to be doing to be okay, that is where we're asking for help. And our inner child, you will notice as you go more deeply into this journey, is literally always asking for help. And I find this to be true in my life, and it happens all day, every day, and it's so pervasive. It comes up all the time, this instinctual, gut level response that we have to everything before anything else gets a look in. It's there, it's in us. And what do we do with that? Do we completely ignore it? Do we just push past it? Do we completely deny that we've even felt it? And that would be the disconnect. That would be the complete opposite of inner bonding. And inner bonding would be to acknowledge that has come up in us, the anger, the sadness, the frustration, that it's come up, and our inner adult responds to that with something as simple as, do you need my help? And I'm being really literal here. You would actually talk yourself through this. You know, you could do it quietly to yourself, or you could do it out loud. I'm kind of all for the out loud thing, because I've become more and more comfortable with my voice and hearing it, and hearing the dissonance when it's there. But when our inner adult comes to our inner child with the question of, what do you need, or how can I help? Something is capable of shifting within us. And I feel like that's where all of my work is right now. And I feel like that's where I really want to be sharing myself and my journey with you, because I think that so many of us are either not quite on that road yet, or we're sort of dipping our toe in the waters, and we're wanting to know, how do I get to the point where I know how to look after myself? And what does that even look like? You know, have you ever sat down and really thought about, what is self-care to me? What would my inner child, what would all these parts of me who feel terrified, that feel lost, that feel unpredictable and angry, what are they asking my inner adult for? What do I need? And does my inner adult know how to recognize what those needs are? And does my inner adult know how to take action? Because that is the inner adult part of us, the part of us that can take action in the world. And I mean really take action, not I know what I need to do, but I'm not going to do it today, or I know what I need to do, but I'll do it later. Or, you know, the million things we do that leave us in that trap of suffering the pain, disconnecting from ourselves, our inner adult, creating that conflict within ourselves. And then most of us exist in the conflict. We exist in the separation. And we are whole. We are one being. We are one person, regardless of what our mind wants to tell us about who we are. You know, we were, and we always will be one person. Now, our mind wants us to think that we're all over the place, and that sometimes we can be happy, and sometimes we can be sad, and sometimes we're a good person, and sometimes we're a horrible person. And no, we are just a person. We are a person. We are a whole person. And we're just not always wholly attending to ourselves. Sometimes we're not even attending to ourselves at all. Sometimes we are so lost in our internal dialogue between this sort of, well, the inner child and the inner adult. You know, they're in a dialogue all the time, but normally it's a really challenging one that causes us a lot of additional anxiety, because we are just we're not acknowledging how we really feel, and we're not acknowledging what we really need. And I, in my life, have found that dialogue has become so incredibly loving now. And, you know, what is self-love? What does that look like in your life? How are you showing up for yourself in your life in a loving way towards yourself? Do you really have a definite grasp on what that looks like, and how disciplined are you about maintaining what you need within yourself, your internal environment. How disciplined are you with attending to that? Whether it's a challenging thing that you're confronted with, an emotional challenge, a challenge in your relationship, whatever it is, where are you in the midst of that? And it's just so crucial that we start to try and strip everything back and simply check in with ourselves in these challenging moments and deeply, deeply, deeply acknowledge, what do I need? And how am I going to give it to myself? Because we do know how we feel. We can name it if we give ourselves permission to do that. And when we give ourselves permission to do that, we free ourselves up to live from our heart space. We live kind of from openness. And that self-love is about opening and expanding and connecting to heal. And I guess that's what healing is. Healing, really, in the adult context, is taking responsibility for what we know we need to do and then doing it. And I know how difficult that sounds, because we are bombarded with solutions and explanations for why this is like that. And, we're just bombarded with, here's the fix. Here's how you fix everything. And it's coming from the outside in, much as this is. That's why the first thing I read was, there are no teachers for you. There are no teachers for you. I'm not your teacher. I'm my own teacher. And I really strongly believe this. You are your own teacher, and possibly by being here, you're learning how to be better self-led and self-determined and really centered on yourself in the best possible way. So I know I've just spewed a lot of information at you there. I'm really conscious of that, but the big question for me in my life is, what do I need and how can I give it to myself? And that, in its simplest form, is the dialogue between the inner child and the inner adult. And if you could take anything away from this tonight, it is that only your inner adult can respond to your inner child, regardless of what's gone before and what you're dealing with in this present moment. It's irrelevant. We can't look outside of ourselves to heal something that's going on inside of us. We are so, for many of us, we're terrifyingly self-determined. It becomes such a frightening thing. It's such a challenge, and it's hard to take responsibility for our own pain and our own joy. And your pain and your joy are, in an ideal world, totally neutral concepts. And this is what I'm trying every day to navigate with my own children. When their pain and their anger comes up, I give them my presence and my unconditional love, so that they get to feel their anger and their pain as safe and as acceptable and as part of life. Not terrifying, not overwhelming, not something that they have to be shamed about. And same with their happiness, with their effervescence, with their joy. I give them my presence, And I can only hope that in some way it will facilitate them in connecting to the part of themselves that knows exactly what they need. And we've all got elements of disconnect in our life, some more than others, but there is a way back, and it's not too late. And everything that we need to know about ourselves, we already have access to. And it just starts with that very simple dialogue. And I know it's simple, but it's not uncomplicated. It can be quite difficult to get to it because there's so many other things in the way, so many other false beliefs. And our false beliefs really are what block us to the truth. And some people rattle them out all day long. He did this to me because I don't trust her because I would feel so much better if that. And we outsource all of our pain. We project it out the way. And I don't want to try to sweep you up in some generalization, but I think we are all capable of, and at times very guilty of, shifting the responsibility. And I really am at a point in my life where I want to hold myself accountable, and I love the fact that I'm totally responsible for how I feel, because I am no longer shackled to other people's opinions of me. You get to live a freer life when you come to know what self-love is really about, when you know who you really are, and you don't have to worry anymore. There's nothing to be scared of anymore, because some kind of deep peace arises in you. And sometimes we have to go down into our instinct and into our inner child to ask for help. And sometimes we have to go up into our spiritual life to ask for guidance. And we get to do both of those things all the time, and we have constant access to them. And in my own life, it looks like making the cup of tea that I love, making a really nourishing meal for myself. I've identified what self-care is, and I don't let myself down in that anymore. I don't abandon myself in it anymore. And I spent a very long time thinking about who I wanted to be, thinking about all the things that I wished I could be consistent with. And through, thank God, through taking tiny steps every day and what appeared to be very insignificant actions in my life, and just being consistent. I'd say within the last 2 years, something just massive has shifted, and the shift has been in my ability to recommit every day to showing up in self-care, and to rid my idea of the mental construct that discipline was a sort of dirty word, a horrible word, a heavy sort of, just an unpleasant, it gave me an unpleasant feeling. It used to anyway, this discipline. It felt like a form of punishment. And it's been completely flipped in my mind, because discipline is self-love at its softest. It really is. It's this enduring kindness, this enduring softness towards ourselves. And in discipline, very acutely, the inner child and the inner adult come out to play. Because the inner child might if left unchecked, really protest and really get angry about having to do stuff that, why do I have to do that? That would be the unchecked inner child, the inner child that's really gone into their childish state rather than their childlike state. And the inner child, in its most sort of beautiful sense, is childlike. It's vulnerable, it's tender, it's imaginative, it's effortlessly joyful. It's our ease, it's our comfort, it's our natural born ability to be an expert in who we are. And that's that incredible childlike quality that all children are masters of before life gets involved. And there's an amazing quote somewhere, yes, where is the life we lost in living? And I'd say, sadly, that kind of is what childhood comes to represent, this this thing we lose. And then we get completely caught up in the life we're living. We're just living, and all along we're losing the life that was in us, this lively spirit, this enduring light, this thing that just is unmistakable. You see it in children. I think it's why we're so drawn to them. And yes, discipline becomes the sort of the beauty spot. It's the axis that we can spin on when we're giving ourselves what we need, because our inner child asks for help. Help me get out of bed. Help me sit in this meditation. And I do that. I let my inner child ask for what she needs. I acknowledge what she needs. I love her so much. I just have to close my eyes and picture my younger self. I only have to look at my daughters to know that is me. I'm in adult form, but I'm not childish, but my childlike sensibility is in me, and it's something I nurture so profoundly nowadays, because I must attend to that part of me with my inner adult. And the inner adult is the part of me that has very newly and very recently taken the kind of action to affect change in my life, in the world, in real time, right now, every time I get to be an effective adult by attending to what my inner child needs. And it is lovely in the extreme, because I make myself good food, and I give myself space, and I speak words of kindness to myself, and my inner adult has the discipline to say no to me when I ever stray into admonishing myself and blaming myself and taking on other people's shit, basically. I am much more able now, my inner adult is much more able now to say no to that. I sort of envisage myself just holding up a hand and no. That's how I see it in my mind. No, I'm not going there. No, Claire, that's not what this is, and that's not what we're doing here. I know what I need. I know what feels good to me, and I know when I start straying into, they think that thing of me, they're accusing me of that thing, or, just the horrible things that we have to confront in the world that challenge who we are. Oh, hold on to me. That's my buzzer. I'm just going to let her in. Sorry. Yes. And that's the place that I want to come to you from. It's the thing that I want to hold your hand in, that I want to inspire you through. I just want to give you a platform and a space to do it for yourself, to recognise what it is. and to go wholeheartedly in, to be all in, to be completely all in with yourself and in your life, and coming in time to integrate your inner child and your inner adult, and to celebrate it every day, to never miss another moment where you can be there for yourself. You know, and it's especially true in the challenging things that come up for us. So there's so much more that I want to share on this, and actually it's given me a real dose of inspiration for maybe turning this into a bit of a course for us all to start doing. And I would really love to start writing something up and then be able to share it with you at some point. But maybe over the weeks I'll delve a wee bit more into practically what it sounds like and looks like. I've sort of shared a bit of what I do and what self-care looks like to me. But I think it would be a really lovely thing for you to do for yourself, to sit down and ask yourself those questions about how can you bring yourself happiness? How can you bring yourself joy? What does self-love look like to you? What does self-care look like to you? Get really specific about it. And then if you do feel ready to tackle inner bonding and bringing the inner child and the inner adult into a deeper connection, then you can look for ways to to take action in the discomfort, to take action, because that's where we get to decide if we're going into a shut down, closed off way of being, or an open-hearted way of being. So those are my thoughts for this evening. I thought I would share a lovely prayer from Prayers of Honouring again. And as always, I just opened, before I came on, I opened and I just went with whatever came up first. And what came up this evening was honouring grief. And I guess this is an enormous part of our healing process, and in taking responsibility to heal ourselves. It involves a certain kind of death, a certain kind of acceptance of what's been lost or what we are losing, that's bringing all the disconnect and the anxiety up. So if you like, you can get into easy pose, which is just sitting cross-legged, or just get yourself comfortable where you are and find your breath. And just close your eyes and I'll read this to you. Thank you for this blessed day, this blessing of life on us, heavy with awareness of what has been surrendered. Inspire us to grieve enough. Remind us not to strive for completing the process for the sake of being done. Help us with our tendency to avoid. Establish in us a belief that we get to wear the face of our pain, not a brave mask which puts others at ease. Help us to speak and honour our pain, understanding that we do not suffer our losses alone. Ease our minds when those who cannot relate to our suffering don't know what to say or do for us. Hold our rage and abandonment while we come to discover what is at the bottom of our deep, deep sorrow. Emphasize to us that someone somewhere understands, despite our contrary thoughts. It is a comfort our hearts to be able to access the spirit of what is no longer. Unlock the pathways so that we may commune with those we remember. Allow the souls who have been reclaimed to visit in our dreams and visions. Help us to preserve the love we came to count on. Teach us to honour our relatives who have taken on another form with purpose and reverence. instruct us in the art of divine communication. Everything which dies will be reborn in some way, even if we do not possess the words to describe this process. Help us to trust in your mystery with our feelings. Groom us to take the long road if we need to. Help us know that our tears are cleansing and our grief sacred, that we can take all of the time we need to release and cleanse our wound of loss. Point out each time we forget that we are equipped with the perfect tools for this process. Give us the energy and strength to weep. We're grateful for the experience of flow when your healing rains wash over us, allowing our emotional bodies to be washed in your waters. Carry our honest pain downstream to join the infinite tributaries of sorrow and mourning in the salty womb of the ocean. Let us mingle our tears with others in a gesture of sharing. Show us how to honour our collective human experience. Remind us that we do not have to fill us with anything at all at this time. Guide us gently through the anxiety of vacancy, where love once held us. So that is, I think, a lovely way to end this evening, and a really lovely way to honour what we were covering there. And I hope that's been healing for you, even just listening to that. I really find that a lovely read. I'll probably go over that a couple of times to have metaphors sometimes, I think, to sort of put it into, yeah, so that it's not just words. It evokes a sense of imagery in us. And that can really help us feel it, really feel the words on a different level. So, in our meditation, which we did, I played the song May the Long Time Sun, and we always finish with our blessing, which is May the Long Time Sun. So, let's get ourselves, I'm going to get into easy pose. And bring your hands to your heart center, and I'm going to sing the song, or the mantra song version of the music that I played you, because I really love that version of it. So close your eyes, bring your hands to your heart center, take a nice deep breath in, and back out. And breathe in. And to someone you love, or to someone who you feel needs your love, we can sing. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. And to yourself we sing. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. Into the world we sing. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. and the pure light within you guide your way on, guide your way on, guide your way on. Satnam, Satnam. Thank you for being here this evening, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next Friday. And just a quick reminder, with the email that I sent about the 2 new things that I'm offering for the month of July, if you want to book up with me, do so over the next month. And hopefully you've maybe had a little look at the inner voice monologues or inner outer, the 2 different package offering to you at the moment, completely free. And I would really, really love to hear from you. We've already got someone signed up, so I'm really hoping that more of you get on board and that I can get to know you a bit better. But thank you for being here this evening. I hope it's been helpful, and I will see you next week.